Alright, welcome back to this channel. Now, the lesson today is based on discussing two questions from this symbiotic relationship worksheet. For those in my class, please make sure you complete the correction, watch this video and do the corrections. Now, some of you would have acceptable answers that I've awarded marks to, but I have a different answer for you to learn as well. So for those who got it correct, for some answers, I also need you to take note of the alternative answer so you learn more things. Let's get started. Let's turn to question 4. Right, for instance, this question, David studied the life cycle of organism G shown below, and David classified G as an insect. Now, so this is your P3, from your P3 lesson on diversity of living things. So you learn about fish, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, and you're supposed to, fish, and to be able to identify organisms based on their observable characteristics. Now, state one characteristics of the adult, so this is the adult, that help David classify the organism G as an insect. So, okay, so this is an observable characteristic. It says adult. So the question says adult, so we only focus on this. Therefore, these answers, although they can help a person identify that, hey, only insects have these stages of pupa. Egg, of course not, right? Birds also lay eggs. Fish also lay eggs. So pupa, yes, insects have this stage. However, the question is, state one characteristic of the adult. The adult doesn't have a pupa stage. So this answer doesn't show that you understood the question. Alright, so this would be wrong. Now, so acceptable answers are things like 3 pairs of legs, or organism G has 6 legs. Alright, so these are the acceptable answers for this question. Let's go on to the next one. So the learning point from this is really understand what the question wants. If you can, please also annotate by simply underlining things to help you remember. Simple thing like this, and just underline with your pen, so you can alert yourself to the specific parts of the question that you are supposed to look at. Now, next one, David studied the effects of surrounding temperature on the life cycle of organism G. So there is a cause, this is a cause, and this is the effect, right, on the life cycle. What effects does it have on the life cycle? And the cause of it will be the surrounding temperature. And this will be the change variable. David changed the temperature from 15 degrees Celsius and slowly increased it to 35 degrees Celsius. And as he does so, he observed the number of days to complete one life cycle. One life cycle would mean from egg, larva, pupa, adult, right, before coming back to this again. So that is one life cycle. At 15 degrees Celsius, it takes 46 days to complete one life cycle, pretty long. But when the temperature goes up, as it goes up, you can see this pattern. As the temperature increases, as this part here increases, the number of days to complete one life cycle decreases. Okay, so from David's findings, how would the temperature affect the length of the growth of one complete life cycle? So from the question here, you need to alert yourself to what are the words I need to use. In my class, students do know that words have meaning. So you're supposed to talk about the effects of temperature and how would that affect the length of the growth of one complete life cycle. So these are the words that have to appear in your answer. Right, these have to appear. So for example, an answer like this. The colder it is, the longer it lives. This answer doesn't talk about the life cycle at all. It doesn't. It's like if I ask you, is your nasi lemak nice? Nasi lemak nice? And you tell me, yeah, the chicken rice is nice. Your answer doesn't have nasi lemak inside. So how are you answering the question directly? So this kind of answer will not be acceptable because this answer does not answer the question. How about this? The higher the temperature, okay, higher the temperature, the more days it has to complete its life. More days, that's not the case, right? At 15 degrees Celsius, the lowest temperature on the record here it takes 46 days to complete one life cycle. As the temperature goes to 35 degrees Celsius, the number of days decreases to 7. It became fewer days, not more days. So the cause is stated, but the effect is wrongly stated. Right, so what would be the answer for this? For example, the answer would be something like this. The higher the temperature of the surrounding, you see the temperature is mentioned. the length of the growth for one complete life cycle, this child mentioned, the shorter the amount of days for one complete life cycle. The relationship is clearly shown. The cause, at the higher temperature, the cause is stated here, higher temperature, and the effect, shorter number of days. So this kind of answer is a good answer. Okay, next one. Let's talk about the part 2. Organism G lay eggs which hatch into larvae on open wounds of living animals. All right, so if a cut, for example, a cut, and then and if it's cut, it may be opened up, right? Maybe it's cut by a claw of an insect or something, or they scratch themselves. And then this organism G, which you do not have to know what it actually is, it will fly into the open wound and lay its eggs inside, right? The open wounds. So, and the larvae will grow in size after some time. What would be the two benefits? Remember, I keep stressing on the word benefit and advantages in the classroom. What are the two benefits for organism G to lay eggs on open wounds? Now, let's take a look at this answer. The larvae can have warmth in between the wound. All right, so yeah, okay, it can have warmth. But how is that an advantage or benefit? I need to hear from the answer that there is an advantage. I can't hear, okay, there's a warm, but how would the warm be an advantage? Like, why would you be in an air-conditioned room be an advantage compared to students who are not in an air-conditioned room, for instance? Or how would you, who have $10 as pocket money daily, be at an advantage compared to somebody who has $6 per day? How would you, have a bicycle, be at an advantage compared to a neighbor on the same block who go to the same school who does not have a bicycle to go to school? So advantage need to be clear. It's not simply enough to say, I have a bicycle, so I can reach school earlier than my neighbor. I have $10, which is $4 more than $6, so I can buy more things at the bookshop, for instance, right? So those are advantages or benefits. So this answer doesn't illustrate any benefit. So I will not accept the first one. The larvae can eat the living animal. Okay, I will ignore some of the phrasing here. You can eat for example, you are suggesting the idea that there is a source of food. All right, so I will accept this, although this is poor phrasing. Poor phrasing. So please, when you do the correction, please write down both answers in for the corrections for this child. Okay, for example, organism G get a source of food. That is clear enough because it's inside the flesh of the living organism. Now, a lot of you mentioned a place to stay. Now, place to stay is not enough as an advantage. Just the 3 examples I gave earlier on about bicycle, about pocket money. So, why is a place to stay an advantage? I mean, if it lays the eggs on the leaves, how is that an advantage? If it lays in the grass, how is that an advantage? So if it has a place to stay, all right, every organism has a place to stay. So how is that an advantage? Why is this an advantage to be inside the wound? Now, of course, always please make sure you don't leave blanks when you hand in work. Make sure it's done. This answer is also not very clear. It has warmth, great, but how is warmth an advantage? It has protection against what? From what? That isn't clear enough. So let's take a look at one of the answers from one of the students who mentioned the idea of warmth. The open wound is warm. Actually, it's more the animal is warm, right? Animal is a living thing. And moist. So it provides suitable conditions for the eggs to hatch and larvae to develop. And this child actually make good use of the evidence given here. The more warmth, therefore, the life cycle needed is shortened. And this child show understanding of this in part 1. So this will be the suitable conditions for the larvae to develop. But I would prefer if the answer here is make a clearer link to the above. To develop faster into an adult. Right, that will make the link, the advantage even clearer. But this is good enough for me to accept it. The other answer, of course, the larvae can feed on the tissue or the fluids. Now, so what answers did we give you? So for example, this is the other answer, the alternative answer. Now, so most of you who can get 1 mark managed to talk about the ready source of food. Now, this part I didn't see in any of my groups. When it's inside the wound, remember, it's inside the wound, predators find it hard to find. They can't even see the eggs, right? So how do they find them? So it's difficult for other animals to find the eggs and eat them. So this will give a higher chance of survival, a higher chance for these eggs to have a chance to hatch, to become larvae to eat the tissue from inside and turn into a pupa in the flesh and become an adult that will emerge from the animal. Right, so this will be an answer you can use. These two answers you can use for these 2 marks. Now, the next kind of answer I'd like to alert you to is about careless reading. Now, here is about the advantages for organism G to lay eggs, right? So the advantage is for what is inside, what is being laid inside eggs. And larvae is the one feeding. So when a child mentioned G will get warmth, it's not the G will get warm, it is the larvae of organism G, not adult G. So organism G gets a source of food. That's why this answer doesn't get a mark, because it should be the larvae of organism G will get the food. Or for example, an answer like this, organism G can get nutrients. No, it's a larvae, or the larva of organism G can get nutrients. So please be specific and clear in your answer. Words have meaning, so you don't change the meaning by changing what you use. Okay, now next one. So this is a hermit crab and sea anemone. Of course, do not have to know them, but if you're interested, you can go and find out more about their interspecies relationship. This mutualism, which you have done in your research. An animal M grows on the shell of a crab as shown below. Animal M has a poisonous sting. How would the crab benefit from its relationship with M? So crab gains protection from M. This answer I do not accept. Why? What is the nature of this protection? Now, protection can come in many ways. For example, one way is the shell of a tortoise, the shell of a sea turtle protects the animal. How? Because the hard shell prevents animal from attacking it. This kind of protection is different. So when they say protection, I need to hear your understanding of protection is the correct one. And the understanding is, it is a protection against predators. Predators of the crab will stay away from it when animal M is on the crab. So I need to know you're talking about, okay, the sting, the poison sting of animal M. Your answer is making reference to this evidence and using this to scare away or to prevent or discourage predators of the crab from going towards it. So this answer doesn't show that meaning. All right. So and again, animal M protect crab from what? Not clear. Crab benefits from animal M by protecting the crab. Again, protect from what? Right? It doesn't matter, right? It's okay to give us a few more words to make your answer clearer. M gives crab protection from predators. Yes, that's a great answer. Crab get protection from animal M. So do we accept this? Of course not. From what? What is it from? Now, I'd like to alert you to careless reading, a scare off predators, fine. But there's also careless reading that you need to be careful. Because no matter how good your answer is, if you are careless, because this child mentioned animal N, there is no animal N at all. Therefore, how can this answer be accepted? Because there's no animal N. Okay? Now let's go on to the next part. Animal M can also grow on a rock. Explain why it is an advantage for animal M to grow on the crab instead of growing on the rock. Now, so first you must understand the difference between rock and on the crab. A rock is an immovable, non-living object in the ocean, in this case, where the crab is a living thing that will move around as it searches for food. So the advantage must be between having some mobility and having no mobility. So what's the advantage of having some mobility? Having mobility will allow, for instance, M to have access to more food sources. Right? That's the advantage of having mobility. If it's just stuck on a rock, so it's only accessible, the only access to food will be whatever that come past, floating past towards the sea anemone, this animal M, if it's stuck on a rock. So if no food comes by it in the ocean waters, then it will go hungry. But if it's on, if there is food even, rich source of food, there could only be only a limited range in that particular habitat. So by being on a moving crab, it can go to different places. Like for example, today it can go to a certain coffee shop for food. Next day it can go to a different coffee shop to get a different variety of food. Right, so that's the advantage. So let's take a look at some of the answers that the student has given. So there's anyone can get more food sources, great. So you can travel around. It is transported other places for food. But this answer is not very clear because you can also get food at the place it is at. So talk about the different variety or the different quantity. It's really in water, so it's in the ocean. Nutrients, not clear, like what? So answers that are not very clear, which means when the teachers mark your work, they cannot fully understand what you're trying to convey. It's hard for us to award you marks compared to somebody who has expressed answer clearer. For instance, growing on the crab allow animal M to move around and a better chance of finding food. This answer is clearer to me. Okay. Now, for a student like this, therefore, learn the other answer that you will see. For instance, this is the other answer that I accept. When crab eats, animal M will gather scraps of leftover food from crab's messy eating. Therefore, it will too get some food. All right, whatever this eat, it'll be floating around. Some will be floating around, right? Because it's a messy eater. And then this will get to eat the scraps that is just around, floating around the crab. So this is also a good answer. So for this student, please learn the other answer. So let's try this answer and see if you accept this. The crab moves around, leading to animal M to get different sources of food. Would you accept this? Let's pause the video and think about this. Yes, because it can now move. So this is a good evidence that you use to get different sources of food. That is good. Okay. Remember, these are all past year PSLE questions. So if you are able to get this right, that it means that you already have the ability to solve PSLE questions. Right? All the best to you. I'll see you in the next video.